Hi all, I'm Trish Triumpho Sullivan, and I'm going to talk to you briefly about assignment number 6. So this is ART6 painting, and assignment number 6 is your portrait assignment. So I'm going to talk really briefly about what I'm expecting from you for this. Okay, so our portrait, let's put it up here, can be either a self-portrait or a portrait of someone you know, say a friend or a family member. I recommend that you ask a friend or a family member as opposed to a stranger, because people might be kind of weirded out if you go up to them and say, hey, I want to paint your portrait, right? So that's kind of odd behavior. So in order to have success, I do recommend that you ask a friend or a family member if you could paint their portrait, and you're going to ask them to sit for you. You're going to be flattering to them. Don't wait till the last minute and be like, you're my last hope. Well, the dogs aren't happy about that either. Hey, that's enough. Hey, no bark. So, no barking, seriously, dude. So that's my dog, Garbanzo Bean, who is protecting me from the people outside who happen to be walking by, walking their dog. I normally put him up when I'm doing videos, but, well, I guess they wanted to say hi to you today. So we're going to do a portrait. We're going to do a 3/4 portrait. And the 3/4 portrait means that only 3/4 of the face is being shown. So that means that instead of looking directly at the painter, the artist, your subject is going to have their head turned slightly, right? This is profile, it's not a profile, right? It's just turned slightly, so it's not direct on like a mug shot, right? That's the kind of photographs we get with our driver's license, and it's also the ones we tend to take very often. So I recommend that you try some different angles and try some different poses, right? You can have the shoulders kind of at an angle to the to this artist, to you. Try some different things. Try tilting the head. Try turning back and forth to see which side looks better. I highly recommend that you have a light from a window. Use natural light, and I don't mean that the light comes in directly, like the sunlight is shining through the window on your subject. Like, for instance, I've got sunlight on my hand right now. You don't want the sunlight directly on your subject, okay? You want just some natural light from a window. So sitting your subject next to a window where the light is coming from the side. And I have a different lecture that talks all about the lighting and some posing. But I wanted to give you the idea, okay? So you're not going to have a straight on look. It's going to be 3/4, either this way or this way, okay? And you can have heads tilted. You can have a different angle, like looking up at the artist, looking down at the artist, looking straight on, that's fine. But the thing is, I want you guys to make sure it's a 3/4 view. This is a challenge that I know you're up to, okay, if you've been doing the stuff in the books. So 3/4 view means it's 3/4 of the face, right? 3/4 face, 3/4 view. So this is what I want you guys to do. All right, so you're going to do a portrait. One of the first things you're going to do is, in the book, they have you doing a self-portrait. So in the book, you're going to draw your self-portrait. Whoops. And I want this to be a fully realized drawing. Okay? Fully realized means that you tone the paper, you put in the highlights and the shadows, and it has a nice rounded look. Okay, so fully realized. You can use the blending, you can use hatching or cross hatching. That's fine either way, or any of those ways, but it's going to be a fully realized drawing. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. So you're going to draw a self-portrait, And then you're going to pick your subject. You can use for your painting. Okay, you can use your self-portrait that you drew. You can draw yourself, or you can draw a friend or a family member. Right? You're not going to go online and get a portrait of a celebrity and draw a celebrity. Okay, or draw someone from memory. You're going to draw looking at a real person. So I want you to draw that. Draw your portrait looking at a real person. Like have someone actually pose for you. Make sure you get that arranged soon. You're going to have someone probably have to sit with you for an hour or so. So, you know, a friend or a family member is the way to go. And look at it this way. Think of the portrait as being not only something you might want to hang up on the wall afterwards, but maybe even gift to someone. You know, Mother's Day, Father's Day, next Christmas, whatever. Think of this as being, you know, something that you're going to keep. Right? This isn't a throwaway. This is something I want you to spend some time on and really work on. So, you're going to draw your self-portrait from the book, right? Then you're going to draw your subject. Draw a portrait. This is going to be also a fully realized drawing. So whoever that is, I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend, you're going to draw a portrait of your subject. And you're also at the same time going to take a photograph of your subject. All right, this is very important because you need to use your phone, take a photograph, because a lot of the times when you're painting, you'll be working from your photograph. But I want your photograph to be taken the exact same time you do your drawing. Right, so make sure you take your photograph. So you're going to take a photograph of your subject. In the same pose, right? In the pose. In pose of drawing, okay? Make sure that you're doing that. That you have the same pose as you're drawing. So you take a photo. So here are your steps, right? Then you're going to start your painting. Okay. So let's talk about that. So we've already said you're going to have a 3/4 view of the face. Okay. So you know what is that about, and I have a different lecture. Okay, that talks about the lighting and a little bit about posing. But I want you to look at some magazines, look online, look at some different ways that people might pose for a portrait. And remember, this is about the face. This is not a full body portrait. So I want you to concentrate in the face. The face should take up most of your canvas. So in other words, if this is your canvas, right, I want you to make sure that the face is a big part of it. Right? I don't want, like, it's not going to look like this. Right? That's not going to be your portrait. Right? I don't want to see something where you've got this great big canvas and this little teeny weeny head way far away, okay? Looks like you can barely see what it is. So that's not what you're doing. So this is a no-no, right? This is a yes, yes. Okay, so that is what I want to see, is a portrait that takes up most of the canvas. So the face is the important part of the portrait. And you can pose the person in a lot of different ways, right? You know, you can have someone with their hand on their face, you know, or like this. Look at some different photographs of portraits or paintings and with portraits and get some ideas so you can have an idea of how you'd like your subject to pose. It's going to be up to you to do that. You're going to be the one to tell your subject how you want them to look in your painting. Okay, and that goes for clothes as well. Now, really quickly, one of my biggest questions that I have is how do you make skin tone? Okay, skin tone. This is one of the easiest things in the world, guys. Skin tone is a snap because you're mixing together your 3 primary colors. And skin tone is a little bit of a misnomer because there is not really a skin tone. Everyone's skin has a lot of different colors in it. A lot of different colors, okay? So you're going to use your 3 primary colors. What are those? Do I hear red? Right? Yellow and blue. So you're going to mix these 3 colors together, and you're going to add white to make it lighter, or brown to make it darker, and sometimes both. And you might end up using a little bit more of one of these colors because people's skin tone tends to have a dominant color. Like they might be have more red in their skin. Like I have a lot of red in my skin, but I also have other colors. I've got some blue, I've got some yellow, right? I've even got some probably lavender in my skin tone. So, and that's all in just my face. That doesn't count the rest of my body, okay? So here we go. We've got red, yellow, and blue mixed together pretty equally, although you might have to add one more of the other, you know, because some people's skin tends to be more greenish, right? Olive toned. Some people's skin tends to be more yellowish, and some people's are more whitish, and even some more a little bit bluish, right? So if you want it lighter, you add more white. If you want it darker, you add brown. Okay, never use black. Black is a no-no for skin tone. What? Right, so black is no. So it's either white or brown. So you're either doing a tint, right, or a shade, but you're using brown instead of black, so you don't want to do that. So that's how you mix skin tone. It's really simple, and play with it, okay? And also don't be afraid to put color on the face. It's very important that you know that people's skin is not a flat tone. It's not just one like solid tone and then there's some shadows and highlights on it. It doesn't work that way. People's skin have different colors in it. And watercolors especially lends itself to portraiture, I think, because our skin is translucent. Light can shine through it. Have you ever held a flashlight up to your hand at night and you can see the bones and the veins and stuff in there? Because you can see right through your skin, right? You can see right through your fingers. You hold the flashlight up and you can see all that stuff inside. Well, our skin is translucent, so we can see light through it. And watercolors especially are good for that, as are oils. Oils help to make it look natural because you can see some light through the skin. And because of that, we can see what's underneath. We can see some reds. We can sometimes see some blues. We can see some greens, right? We can see these other colors in our skin. So don't think it's just this solid flesh tone. It's not. There's different colors in people's faces. And to help you see that, I recommend that you try squinting your eyes when you're looking at someone's face. See if you squint your eyes, or if you wear glasses, take your glasses off. That usually works pretty good too. But squint your eyes so things kind of look blurry, and until you can kind of see these different colors and see those shapes of color that are in people's faces. They're all different colors, you guys. And have some fun with it. Like, you know, this should be a really fun, challenging, right? But fun, really fun assignment. And I'll do a demo as well with a portrait, because I do portraits a lot. Portraits are my specialty, so I'll work on a little demo to give you guys a little bit more info on that. And that's pretty much it. So there's not a lot of instruction in this. This is free for you to do the portrait that you want to do. You can use any style you want, but it does need to look like a person, okay? So when I say any style, I'm telling you, like, no cubist portraits, okay? So we're not doing Pablo Picasso or kind of stuff. It needs to look like the real person. So I want you to work on that. And the next assignment coming up after this, number 7, is the miniature, and we'll talk about that in our next lecture. But for right now, you're going to be working on your portrait. Make sure you watch not only this one, but the one on lighting and camera angles, so you can kind of get an idea of how to do something fun. Have some fun with this. Right, so we'll see you in class.